Welcome to Reddit Entitled Parents, where entitled mum sues me after her son tried to steal my purse. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified of my new videos. Our first post is from Xavier. Before I start, I'm from Germany and this story took place there. Please keep that in mind, because our laws might be slightly different and English isn't my first language, and if I misspell things or my grammar is wonky that's why. So, in the early 2010s I was trying on sneakers in a shoe store downtown with my purse lying next to me on the floor. I'm blind and deaf on my right side, brain surgery gone wrong. But I'm okay considering the circumstances, and so I didn't even really see the teenager who sneaks up, grabs my purse and starts booking it out the store. If he hadn't started running, I probably wouldn't even have noticed he had taken my bag lol. Without really thinking I start after him, and, since I was wearing new sneakers from the store, a store clerk runs after me. The kid makes it about 200 yards before I catch up with him. Now, I didn't try to tackle him. I just wanted to grab him, and we lost our balance. Poor guy tries to catch his / fall with me on top of him. He was maybe 150 pounds. I was maybe 185 pounds. And there's a sickening crunch. Textbook Galeazzi fracture. I instantly feel horrible for the chap, and try to see what's wrong. I used to work as an EMT. The clerk from the shoe store is standing there staring at us, trying to figure out what just happened. Kid's clutching his arm and trying to act tough. He might even have tried to get back up and keep running, but there were too many people around us now, and he changed his mind. I ask for an ambulance to be called, but it's the police who show up first, called by the store, and ask what happened. I explain. The store clerk explains. A few witnesses chip in. The police asks if I want to press charges and I say something like, I think he's been punished enough. Forward about a month. In short succession I get 2 letters. One's informing me that the police is looking into a battering charge against me. The second is a summons into court, and can't believe my eyes. I have been sued by the purse snatcher for damages for pain and suffering. They wanted something around 8,000 euros for the broken wrist. Luckily I have an awesome lawyer, who is also my cousin, and we appear in court at the appointed time. While we wait for the case to be called, the kid sits on a bench, his arm in a brace, looking a bit sheepish. Next to his lawyer, a young guy and henceforth lawyer 1, stands his mother, glaring daggers at me. We get called inside, and lawyer 1 starts to elaborate in great detail how I threw myself on top of the kid while he was on the ground, and so caused his injury, which in turn took surgery to fix. It's hard for me to keep quiet, but I bite the inside of my cheek and hold my tongue. Once lawyer 1 is done, my cousin gets up, and the first thing she does is inform the judge that the injury was caused during a crime, explaining about the purse snatching. The judge pauses, looks at lawyer 1, and asks if he was aware of this. He says yes, but that it shouldn't matter, because in their view I caused the injury deliberately, and therefore the circumstances should not matter. As long as I wasn't defending my health, I had no right to injure a child. Judge has 2 questions. Were there witnesses? And why were there no charges filed against the thief? My cousin produces statements from witnesses, the first police report of the incident and the documentation about the suspended investigation, about whether or not I should be charged for battering. She also informs the judge that the police had followed my wish in not filing charges for the theft, and explains that I felt the kid had suffered enough due to his injury. This is where entitled mum makes her first big mistake. She interrupts my cousin before she can finish and says something like, obviously she, meaning me, was afraid she'd get in trouble for what she did to my poor child. And the police did not do their job properly. Lawyer 1 tries to shush her and apologizes to the judge, saying his client is clearly in emotional distress over her child's injury. Backquote, her poor child, who was 17, meanwhile sits in his chair behind lawyer 1 and entitled mum, and looks like he's trying to disappear into the floor. The judge, in an unusual move for a German court, asks the kid directly if he thinks I injured him on purpose. He sort of shrugs, and right there entitled mum makes mistake number 2. That fat cow threw herself onto my poor child when he was lying in the street. She should be locked up. Now, in Germany you can't just say rude things like, fat cow to someone, even if they're true, at least the fat part. Especially not in court. My cousin turns around to me and silently mouths wow. There's even a murmur of reaction from the 3 or so people sitting in back of the court. Many court proceedings are open to the public in Germany. The judge looks at entitled mum, who is again being shushed by lawyer 1, not quite as gently this time, and who stage whispers, "It's true." When all is quiet again, judge waits a few more seconds just glaring at entitled mum, teacher style. Then the judge looks at lawyer 1 and asks, "Do you want to proceed with this nonsense?" Before lawyer 1 can say no, it would have made the court costs cheaper, I think. Entitled mum says yes, judge nods, declares the case dismissed, orders all costs, court and both lawyers, to be paid by the claimant, and then turns to me and asks if I want to file charges for libel. My cousin nods enthusiastically, so I say yes. Judge announces she'd speed things up and asks lawyer 1 if he'll be representing entitled mum. He nods. Entitled mum seems to have lost the plot and keeps asking him what's going on. Before lawyer 1 can even explain to her what's about to happen, the judge makes it official and awards me €150 in damages, and again decides that all cost and lawyer costs should be carried by entitled mum. My favorite thing about this, my lawyer is my cousin and she wouldn't have charged me more than absolutely necessary. But she's also working in a prestigious law firm with 4 partners, who rake up a combined 6 PhDs, and which is not cheap. I don't remember the exact amount entitled mum ended up getting billed with, but it was a good chunk. So I'm posting this here, not to gain some sympathy or stuff like that. I'm posting this story to let you all know how entitled parents can really almost ruin someone's love life. So let me give everyone who is reading this some background. The details might be fuzzy, but hope I can still provide a good story. This happened 2 years ago. I'm now 18, almost 19 now, but I knew this girl. Let's call her Ashley. Now Ashley was your typical nerdy gamer girl who was rather cute and would rather go on nerdy, dorky dates than your typical dates. So Ashley and I had known each other for approximately 4 years now and found out that we had a lot in common, but was going through the end stages of a breakup that had happened 8 months ago with a guy who had been rather abusive. What he did and how he did it doesn't matter, but to get to the story, all her friends had abandoned her and I was the only one who stuck by her. So anyways, we were chilling at this local arcade/amusement park setup and we were having an amazing time with each other. We were finishing up with a game of air hockey when she told me she had to go to the bathroom. Cue an entitled mother. Entitled mother, "Hey there mister, I was wondering if you could do something for me." Me, "Oh, depending what it is, I could maybe help you. What do you need?" Entitled mother, "Oh perfect, so I was wondering if you could take my daughter on a date. I have been overhearing your conversations with that other girl and I think you two would fit perfectly." Me, a little creeped out that she's been stalking us. "Oh, thanks for the offer, but as you could probably tell, that I'm already on a date and I really do like this girl." Entitled mother, "Oh come on, that girl isn't even close to attractiveness as my beautiful daughter is." Me, trying to be polite as I can, "Sorry no, I hope she finds someone good for her though." As I'm now proceeding to walk away, the entitled mother seemed really upset and disgusted that I didn't date her daughter, but I was like whatever. Now around this time, me and Ashley had regrouped and she bought us pretzels which we munched on. Nearing the end of our date, Ashley and I had a lot to eat and drink, so we decided to have one more bathroom break before leaving. I ended up finishing up before Ashley, waiting for her to be done, and then it happened. How I almost lost my date that night. Entitled mother, "Hey there again." Now with her daughter, who I won't lie, was kinda cute, but looked like she didn't even want to be there, and a little younger, and was on her phone. Me, "Hi." Seeming more annoyed now. Entitled mother, "So how about it? You drop that slut of a date and date my daughter." At this point entitled teen looked from her phone and I kid you not, stared at me like a piece of meat, which made me feel really uncomfortable. I grew more and more nervous and just wanting to get out of there before entitled teen runs up to me and full on kisses me. She started latching on while I tried pulling away from her, and that's when I noticed Ashley, dumbfounded. She quickly grew teary-eyed and ran off crying. At this point, I was just effing done with this bullshit and full on shoved the entitled teen and mother out of my way so I could chase after Ashley. While I was running, the mother was shouting explicits, and why can you not date my daughter, but that's like you English pig, I have an accent, and the daughter complaining to the mother about how it's her, Ashley, fault that I ran, or some rubbish like that. I didn't give a damn, and had more important things on my mind. So the night ended with me having to explain to Ashley in the car ride back to her house what really happened. She told me that she wanted a small break so she can collect her thoughts, but I reminded her that I loved her a lot and hoped she knew I wouldn't ever do that unless something bizarre like that happened. After the week ended, she believed me, telling me that she knew me for so long to know that I would never do that, and we ended up dating for 1.5 years before her family had to move away.